What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out the latest 360 degree camera from Insta360. What we have here today it's called the Insta360 X3. So how is a 360 degree camera different than a regular action camera? So a regular action camera is something like this. You basically have one lens, and with a camera like this you are just filming in front of the camera. With a 360 degree camera like the X3 here, the camera basically records all around itself. So whenever you're filming, you don't really have to point the camera this way or that way because it records all around itself. So whenever you're exporting the video, you can actually choose what part of the video you want to show. So if you want to show this side, you can show that side. If you want to show the back side, you can show the back side. So this is the main advantage of having a 360 degree camera compared to a regular action camera like this one. This is just an example. Now, this also records in 8K at 30 frames per second for the 360 degree video, or you can do 5.7K at 60 frames per second. Personally, I don't care about 60 frames per second. So of course, all the recordings that I've done with this and everything that you're gonna see throughout this video was done in 8K at 30 frames per second. So basically, once you've recorded a 360 degree video, you can export that video however you want. So if you want to make a landscape video, let's say that you're gonna be using it for a YouTube video, you can export the video as a landscape video, or if you're planning to use that video for Instagram or whatever you need, like a portrait mode video, you can export the video like that as well. So we have a massive 360 degree file because obviously it is in 8K. So in that recording that I just showed you earlier, I was pointing the footage wherever I wanted to point the footage because the camera recorded all around itself. So in some situations I can show this angle, in some situations I can show that angle. So it really depends how you want to present that video to whoever it's going to be watching. So it's just a matter of your imagination what you can actually achieve with a camera like this. Now, you can also use this as a regular action camera. So a camera like this basically records in front of itself, but you can also use the X3 as a regular action camera if you don't want to record a 360 degree video. Let's say you just want to mount this on your chest here and you just want to film right in front of you. So you can use this as a regular action camera and you can record that in 4K at 30 frames per second or 4K at 60 frames per second. Personally, since I'm not a big fan of 60 frames per second, the recording that I'm about to show you was done in 4K at 30 frames per second. So let me quickly play that and I will be right back. And of course, you can also use this as a regular action camera. So if you don't want to film with both lenses, the one on the front and on the back, so in 360 degrees, you can also use just one lens as I'm doing right now. So I'm currently recording in 4K at 30 frames per second, passing by some super nice boats around here. Definitely not my boat, but very cool boats around here. So yes, you can definitely use this as a regular action camera in case you don't want to use the 360 degrees field of view, so then you don't have to actually export those videos. So you have this option as well. And with this occasion, you can see how the quality would be if you're recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. So as you've seen for yourself, you can definitely use this as a regular action camera, but since you have the ability to record in 360 degrees, why not use this as a 360 degree camera and then just export the video however you want? So personally, I don't see myself ever using this as an action camera because I can get so much more by recording 360 degrees around me. Because then I can spin the image left, spin the image right, depending where I'm going, what I'm showing, the location, and so on. And this is a quick example, basically in the same spot where I was filming the other recording, just so you can see what you can do when you're actually recording in 360 degrees. And we're moving on to another super quick recording in 8K at 30 frames per second. We have a bit of a change for our location this time around. We are in a marina right now. This place is called Almerimar, if I remember right. It is very close to a bigger town called Almeria. we have some boats. So for example, in such a situation like this, you can have the camera recording you, but when you're talking about something else, you can just spin the image basically towards whatever you're talking about, and all that of course is done after you're recording. So whenever you're recording, you don't have to worry about any of that because you're recording all around yourself. So it will give your videos a more dynamic look, I'm gonna say, because you're basically filming everything at all time, and you can just show whatever you want to show in those recordings. So a very unique style of recording. Once again, this was done in 8K at 30 frames per second, but for the YouTube video that you're gonna be seeing, this will be exported in 4K at 30 frames per second. And we're getting very close to this boat here. So I'm basically gonna spin the camera towards the boat. Well, spin the image after I'm done recording towards the boat. So yeah, 8K at 30 frames per second. So all that footage was done by using an invisible selfie stick like this. Insta360 has a variety of these that you can buy, so this is like a more regular sized one. But one of my all-time favorite sticks is this one. This becomes 3 meters long, so this is a very long stick, but you can get some super cool looking footage if you are using something like this. Of course, you do need the perfect situation for something like this. So for example, if you're riding a motorcycle and you kind of want to show the whole motorcycle while you're riding, you can use something like this. If you are in a car, for example, of course you're gonna have to extend this out quite a bit, because this way you can actually capture the entire car whenever you're driving something, and of course you are recording with this. So it really depends on the situation where you plan on using a selfie stick like this, but the bigger the better basically for some situations. And this is something that you're never going to be able to get from a regular action camera, because with a regular action camera the selfie stick will actually show up in those recordings, and well, nobody really wants a selfie stick in your recordings. And of course, all the footage that you've been seeing are just examples where I filmed over the past weekend with the Insta360 X4, and for some of those I did use the regular invisible stick here, but for the ones where I was riding the motorcycle and driving in the car, I was using the longer selfie stick here. So again, it really depends on the situation and how you plan on using this camera, but having something like this, it would definitely come in handy in a lot of situations. Now, if you're wondering how you'd mount this on a motorcycle or on a bicycle or on a car or whatever you plan on mounting it on, well, Insta360 does have a lot of accessories. Now, because I do have a lot of accessories from them, I didn't actually open everything. So for example, this is a heavy duty clamp. I do have this one that I've been using for a while now. I don't remember when I got this, but it does work really well. So I just use this one because it does work so well. I think I got that from Insta360 like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. They also have like a bike bundle. So inside here, you're basically gonna find everything. You have like a chest mount. So if you wanna use the camera as a regular action camera, just to give you an example, you can put this on your chest and then you can mount the camera kind of like this, and then you use it as a regular action camera. But then if you want to mount it on the bicycle, you also have this. So they do have an insane amount of accessories. You just have to kind of think what you're gonna be using the camera with. Personally, I don't use a lot of these accessories. I basically use this and that big invisible selfie stick, and that's pretty much it for me. But again, it depends on the situation and what you plan on doing with the camera. Alright, and next we are taking a quick look at the camera. So the camera is made out of a combination of plastic and rubber. It does feel very high quality in every single way. And like a typical 360-degree camera, we have one lens on one side and one lens on the other side. And of course, the camera records all around itself. Now in the box, you're gonna find a lens guard. So one for each lens, basically. So for the front and the back. So if you're not typically careful with your cameras, if you throw them around, that could come in super handy. Personally, I haven't dropped a camera yet so far, so I'm never gonna use those lens guards, but I know that a lot of people aren't really careful with their devices. They just throw them in the backpack. They're talking about the backpack. There is also a protective pouch that comes with the camera. So whenever you're not using it, basically keep it in here. What I like doing, because I typically have it on the selfie stick, so I leave it like this, and then I close the protective case, and then I carry it like this, because this way the camera is actually protected. So if you see me somewhere going this camera, this is how it's gonna look. But if you don't wanna use this, you basically have those lens guards that come in the box. There is also this protective cover for the camera that comes in the box, a bit of quick start guide, even though this is super simple to use, the charging cable, and a cleaning cloth. So basically everything you need is in that box. Of course, this camera also has a variety of internal microphones, because you need to capture sound whenever you're talking, if you're vlogging with a camera like this. So from what I'm seeing here, we have a microphone on this side, another microphone on this side. This is probably another microphone hole. I'm just guessing because obviously I can't really tell what's inside the camera. And this is also waterproof. So just as you see it here, this is actually waterproof up to 10 meters. Personally, I'm not gonna take this in the water. I really don't take any cameras in the water, but for some water sports, you can definitely use this in the water. And going back to that microphone, so next, let me show you a couple of sample recordings that I've done. So again, I was recording in 8K at 30 frames per second, but the video that you're about to see, the videos that you're about to see were exported in 4K at 30 frames per second, just so you have an idea how the internal microphones on the Insta360 X4 basically work and how they capture sound. So let me play those recordings and I will be right back. All right, so we have a quick microphone test outdoors. I am by the sea here, so you may hear the sea as well. It is slightly windy, so you may hear the wind as well. However, we do have a beautiful and sunny day. So we are currently recording in 8K at 30 frames per second. Of course, I'm using the invisible stick because that's why you don't see me holding the camera, and I'm walking normally. So this is how the microphone on the Insta360 X4 would capture sound. Alright, and we are moving on to our second microphone test. Once again, I am outside, I am recording in 8K. Of course, the video will be exported in 4K at 30 frames per second eventually, but this recording is done in 8K right now. We also have a few cars passing by, but like this you get an idea how the microphone would capture sound under these conditions. So with a bit of wind and some traffic around us. I'm also using the invisible stick right here, and I have the team right behind me here. And as you've seen and heard for yourself, the sound quality was quite good, mostly taking in consideration that I was using the selfie stick extended at maximum for both of those recordings. So the camera was actually quite far away from me, but the internal microphones in it were able to capture the sound quite good. It was also quite windy, but this has an auto wind mode, so it will cut down the wind when it notices that it's windy wherever you're recording, because well, when you're outside it's windy a lot of the time. So that's how those internal microphones work. On the front here, well, on the back really, I guess this is the front, this is the back, we have the screen, so you can basically change settings for the camera from the screen. We have a little button here that allows you to switch modes. So we have a time-lapse mode, we have a time shift mode, we have a bullet time mode, we have loop recording, star lapse, burst, interval, HDR photo, video, active HDR video. So we do have a lot of modes available. You can also access all those modes and change settings from the Insta360 app. So you'd install that on your smartphone. And if you do install the app, you can actually make some really cool videos using the app's AI feature. So you don't necessarily have to edit your own videos. The app can actually make some cool videos from whatever you've recorded with the camera. So it is quite nice using the Insta360 app because it does have a lot of features. Now, you can also use the Insta360 Studio app on your computer if you want to export those videos. Personally, I find it easier and more convenient on the computer, well, mostly because I'm on the computer all the time. So whenever I'm exporting a video, I basically take out the SD card from the camera, I plug it in my computer, and then I export whatever videos I want from the app on the computer. But if you don't want to do that, you can do all that from the Insta360 app as well. Alright, so now that you have a better understanding what the Insta360 X4 can do, let me show you a few more recordings that I've done over the past weekend. All the recordings were basically exported in 4K, but initially I filmed everything in 8K at 30 frames per second because I was filming a 360-degree video. But everything was exported in 4K at 30 frames per second using the Insta360 Studio app on my Mac. So let me show you different situations and what I've recorded just so you get an idea how the footage looks. None of the footage has been modified in any way, so no color grading, no nothing. It was basically exported and put into this video. So let me play those and I will be right back. And of course, in a situation like this, or you don't have another person to take a picture of you, you don't have another person to take a video of you, you can always use this camera and invisible stick, so you can actually get those recordings, and it almost looks like someone is actually filming you, like you have a dedicated person filming you at all times. Hi, Laura.
Hello.
Yeah, this is Laura.
Hi.
So you can also do this with this camera. Another super quick recording on top of this hill here. So once again, I'm doing 8K at 30 frames per second. What you're gonna be seeing in the actual video will be exported in 4K at 30 frames per second. Now, unfortunately, it is a bit of a hazy day. If we look that way, so to my right, you'd basically see the Mediterranean Sea. Unfortunately, it is a bit hazy out, so maybe it doesn't look that great. But any other day, this is a super cool view right here. So there you have it. This was a super quick look at the Insta360 X4. Now, of course, you can do a lot more with this camera than the stuff that I've showed you. For example, you can take 72 megapixel pictures, and you can also reframe those pictures after you take them. But in this video, I basically showed you what I use this camera for, what I personally use this camera for, because I just find these cameras cool to record me when I'm riding a motorcycle, when I ride a bike, when I'm in the car, and so on. So for taking pictures, you can definitely take pictures with it, but I always find it easier to just take my phone out and take a picture than taking a picture with a camera like this. Again, everyone is different. If you don't have a phone that's that new and great, this will definitely take better pictures than that. So it really depends on the situation and what you plan on doing with a camera like this. But in this video, I basically just showed you the stuff that I love a camera like this for. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Also, thanks to Insta360 for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.